Metaphysical refers to something beyond this physical existence. Meta is a word which, like so many other things, we have the ancient Greeks to thank for. When they used it, meta meant beyond, after, or behind. The beyond sense of meta still lingers in words like metaphysics or meta-economy. Physical is having a material existence, perceptible especially through the senses and subject to the laws of nature. Metaphysical refers to something beyond this physical existence. Idealism is a group of metaphysical philosophies that claims our reality is fundamentally mental or mentally constructed. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher during the classical period in ancient Greece. He was taught by Plato and began teaching at the Lyceum. The word metaphysics appears to have been coined by the 1st century AD editor, who assembled various small selections of Aristotle's works to the treatise we now know as Metaphysics. Aristotle called it the first philosophy, and was distinguished from mathematics and natural science as the contemplative philosophy, which is a theological and of divine studies. Mr. W. D. Ross wrote Aristotle Metaphysics in 1924, and a PDF file is available on the internet. The definition of contemplative is being deep in thought or meditation. Watch your thoughts while you are sitting quietly and meditating. The definition of philosophy arrives from Greek, meaning love of wisdom. It refers to a systematic study. The definition of theology is the study of the nature of God. In Book 1 of Aristotle's, he puts forth 3 different types of life that man associates with happiness. An indulgent life of pleasure, which majority of people confuse with happiness. A refined life of politics, where man aims for honor and higher divinity associated with wise men. And thirdly, the way of intellectual speculation, what we know as contemplation. Idealism is a group of metaphysical philosophies that claims our reality is fundamentally mental or mentally constructed. Princeton Mulford was also an instrument in the founding of the popular philosophy New Thought, along with notable writers including Ralph Waldo Emerson. Mulford's book, Thoughts Are Things, served as a guide to this new belief system and is still popular today. The ageless wisdom is a non-religious approach to spirituality, the nature of the soul, and the development of consciousness. Also known as the perennial philosophy, esoteric philosophy, mysticism, and the wisdom is a concise about the spiritual reality of human souls incarnate. From ancient times, the wisdom has been known, yet hidden, veiled and secretly whispered from lip to ear only to the most worthy. To avoid persecution by the church state, the great mystery schools were invisible colleges, a reference to the spiritual nature of the information as well as its hidden traditions, rules, principles, and ceremonies. However, an even greater concern than being slaughtered by a crusader or burned at the stake by the Grand Inquisitor was the forebottling that the ageless wisdom would be lost forever if it became a religion, a rigid, oversimplified dogma for the masses. Despite great advances in science and technology, The extent of human cruelty and the tolerance of gross injustice requires teachers of the ageless wisdom to reveal it not only to the most worthy, but to everyone willing to open their hearts and minds to the magnetic love that binds all things and the ultimate unity behind the veil. The ageless wisdom is metaphysical in its recognition of consciousness as the energy behind physical form. The ageless wisdom is mystical in its emphasis on a spiritual path of self-realization, largely free of ego-based masters and dogmatic religious doctrine. The ageless wisdom is magical in its ability to refine and manifest form. The ageless wisdom is contemplative in its approach to God Absolute via intuition and consciousness behind thought, emotion, or physical sensation.